Good morning, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to the final day of the Buildings Next 2025 Team Showcase. I'm Taylor Ryan, Buildings Next lead at NREL, and it is my privilege to kick off today's ceremonies. I hope you enjoyed the video and slideshow showing the renderings and team photos from this year's projects. This year is a little different, so we want to take some time this morning to celebrate all of your projects, as each one was innovative in its own way. You'll hear a bit more from the U.S. Department of Energy on overall recognition later, so let me walk us through the general outline of the day. First, I want to mention we are live streaming this event, which is why you may notice extra staff and cameras in the back of the room. We actually expect to have more than 1,000 people watching the live stream, especially since we had around 40 virtual teams participating yesterday. Let's all give a round of applause to folks watching online to welcome them. Our first agenda item is the overall recognition from DOE, followed by our thought leader speaker in Q&A with Megan Cordes from Beezer Homes. We'll then have 1 hour of career connections for students and industry in the foyer where breakfast was served, and the faculty social in the Keystone and Telluride rooms back near the hotel lobby. These two events are in-person only, so our live stream will be paused from 10 to 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Following those networking sessions, we will be back virtually and in person for our grand finale to announce 16 honorable mention recognitions, 2 for each division group. We will have both virtual and in-person honorable mentions. After the awards ceremony closing, in-person teams are invited to pick up to-go lunches so you can enjoy some food with your team before or during your travels home. We will now have a series of virtual remarks from the U.S. Department of Energy. First, I would like to welcome Holly Jamison-Carr, Energy Technology Program Manager and DOE Lead for Buildings Next, to share a few words. Welcome, Holly.
I am so grateful to be joining you from Alexandria, Virginia this morning to watch live stream of festivities. You have not seen me in person this year, but I can see you right now. There is a camera that's showing me the ballroom, so hey. I was definitely watching your presentations yesterday. You may have seen me popping in on Zoom, going frantically from one Zoom room to another, trying to see as many presentations as I could. I was beyond impressed. Your ideas, your passion, your innovations have really reinvigorated and inspired me, and I sincerely thank you for that. I think your visions of what the built environment can be were really well captured by that video that played earlier this morning at the start of the ceremony. Of course, it's really wonderful to see your ideas in separate presentations, but seeing all of your renderings together in that quick video really paints a picture of your vision of what buildings can be. I hope you take those seeds of what you've learned in your design experience this year and you let them grow through your additional schooling, your additional studies, and your professional work. We really need people like you with a deep understanding of building science and also with that spark of creativity and care to apply those ideas to as many real-world projects as possible. Now I'd like to say a special thank you to our Buildings Next sponsors. We truly could not run this event without your support. Extra thanks goes to Legence, our gold level sponsor for the past 3 years. We love our partnership with Legence. I hope that you had a chance to meet and chat with some of the folks from Legence this weekend. You'll get a chance to hear a little bit more about Legence and the impact they're having on the world in a bit. Thanks also to our silver level sponsors who have shown amazing support for this program, some for many, many years. Thank you to Generac, to HKS, to Infineon, Lowe's, and the National Association of Home Builders. You can see the logos for our many bronze level sponsors on the screen. We want to thank you as well for believing in the mission of this program and for supporting this weekend's events. Let's give all of our sponsors a big round of applause. Thank you. I also want to thank our alumni mentors. Many of you worked with alumni mentors, and they are former participants of this program who come back to volunteer their time and their expertise with current students. They're paired with a team to offer professional advice as well as guidance throughout the academic year. Mentors connect students with resources, and they offer feedback on their designs and really introduce them to the field. Thank you, mentors. I hope some of you are out there watching online, so let's give them a round of applause as well. Thank you. And of course, I am immensely grateful to the organizer team. Thank you to my colleagues at the Department of Energy, the organizers at NREL, and the contractor support staff. This team has really just gone above and beyond this year to ensure that we have an impactful experience for all of you. If the organizers in the room would please stand, let's give a round of applause to acknowledge their unwavering dedication to our student teams. Thank you. We know that this program is a large time commitment, not just for students, but for our faculty advisors as well. Many of our faculty have spent a great deal of time and energy incorporating this event into their coursework. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you for embracing this program and for giving your teams expert advice throughout this whole process. Faculty advisors are really the backbone of this program and deserve an extra large round of applause this morning. And finally, our industry reviewers. We are grateful that 16 of you dedicated your weekend to listening to these fantastic design pitches and providing feedback based on your decades of experience. I really enjoyed listening to the thoughtful Q&A sessions yesterday, and I hope our industry reviewers are feeling inspired themselves by the innovation that they saw from all of our teams. Thank you very much, industry reviewers. And thank you all for being a part of this weekend. I love this event and all it stands for, and I hope that now that you've experienced it, you really do too. Keep solving those big problems out there and sharing your ideas with one another. By working together, we can break down these big problems into bite-sized chunks that we can do something about. We may not be able to improve the entire built environment overnight, but we can start with one house, one apartment, one school, one clinic. And once we start and people experience lower bills, better design, more comfort, the momentum will be hard to stop. Now I am thrilled to announce our next virtual speaker. Please give a warm welcome to the Deputy Director of the Building Technologies Office at the U.S. Department of Energy, Ram Narayanamurthy. Ram?
Thank you, Holly. And I just want to say thank you to everyone who's put this together. I was in the room with you 2 years ago. Always find it extremely inspiring to be there. So sorry I couldn't be there, but Kelly, the annual team, the organizers, all the sponsors, just thank you. Thank you for being there. Thank you for making this event happen. And thank you for all the teams who are a part of this event, whether you're virtual or in the room. So I just want to say, I mean, this is a within the Building Technologies Office, we do a lot of we work on building energy codes. We work on transforming the residential building stock. We work on new construction. We work on a commercial building stock. We work on this research and innovation, all the way from early stage research to demonstrations and deployments. But for me, this is a contest. This is a event that has some very strong connections. It is something that has a huge history. I always think of a few programs within BTO, within the Buildings Office, where these have been gold standards for many years. I have very fond memories of walking through the homes on the National Mall fond memories of walking through homes in Irvine, California, when it was in California for a few years. And I always learn a lot. I mean, this is one of those days where I learned so much. It doesn't happen every day, but I learned so much from what you all put into these ideas and into how you are trying to transform these ideas. So for me, that's an inspiration. And when I saw what you all come to the table with, and looked at your presentations and looked at what you're doing, I'm thrilled and excited to see what you have what you have put together in front of you. So I remember that, like when I walked through these homes, some of the innovations that we take for granted today, right? With LED lighting. I think one of the first times I saw LED lighting in a actual building setting was in 2005 at the Solar Decathlon College. I've seen some of the first triple pane windows show up in this competition. I've seen innovations around air sealing show up in this competition for the first time. And so for me, this has always been a place where you nurture new ideas, where you nurture innovation, where you nurture new technologies. And it is that fresh approach that you all bring that for me is a cornerstone of this work. I remember that through my experience, like I saw how the teams are put together, brought in builders, brought in designers, brought in architects, but most importantly, brought in the community to work with the community to make these transformations happen. In my experience, I think one of the most poignant moments I've had, we were working on retrofitting existing multifamily buildings, affordable housing. And I remember walking into a home, and I remember a mother saying, "I'm so glad that you were walking in here, because we heard that the building next door, you went in, you made changes, and now the homes are so much more comfortable." And she said, "And this is the impact you all can transform." And what she said was, during the summer, it gets to 115 degrees, and my daughter has nosebleeds because we cannot keep our home cool. And she said, "I walked into my neighbor's home, it was the next building over, and he said, if this can be in my home, my daughter can now live a better home." And so for me, those are the impacts that we make. Yes, it's the technology. Yes, it is in innovation, but ultimately it's about creating better quality. So I had a chance to walk through, and I think one of the things that what was inspiring for me was, like, I saw that there were teams from around the world. I used to think of the Solar Decathlon competition as a national contest. Like, I was so inspired to see teams from Egypt, from Canada, from England, from South Africa, from Spain, from India, from Iran, from Turkey, China. I'm sorry if I left any other countries, but it's just amazing to see that this is such an international event, that we have teams coming in from all over the world. And what you're doing is really inspiring. You are trying to convert containers into homes so that people who don't have homes can live there. You are trying to create communities, whether it's urban, whether it's suburban, whether it's rural. You are working with partners, large groups of partners, and trying to solve the vexing problems today, whether it's around housing affordability, whether it's around housing insecurity, whether it's around energy efficiency, and trying to pull all of this together. And we're working on trying to solve resilience. I saw teams working on better flood-proofing homes, on homes that can be more fire resistant, homes that are being designed to solve the challenge in earthquake sensitive zones. So it's really inspiring to see all of this, right? And really inspiring to see how all of these designs come together. And it is just, I will say, I just have to say, I was like very impressed to see, and actually shocked to see teams from my old, where I went to school at Ivy Grad, right? I just know that I wasn't even thinking of doing these things when I was in my undergrad. And so for me, this is a great inspiration. You're all inspired to create a better tomorrow. And I think between all of you, you hold the recipe book to transform the nation and the world and the building stock that we have. You have the recipe book to make it a better place to live for everybody. Um, Making homes, making buildings, making health centers, making college campuses, making schools, all of them more efficient and more affordable and more comfortable is such an inspiring journey. So when I see what you're bringing to the table today, what I see is a generation that's inspired to solve big problems. I see a room full of inspired people trying to make a better world. And to that, I have to bow because this is the inspiration that keeps us going. When we look at what we have to do for the nation's building stock, for the world's building stock, I think this is what inspires us to keep going. And I just want to say, we look forward to supporting you as you go on your journey, as you try to make the world a better place, as you try to create housing that is more resilient, housing that's more efficient, and more housing, as you try to create better buildings overall, whether it's commercial or whether it's residential. And I just want to say, keep the work. As you graduate, as you move on in your lives, please keep this inspiration, because we need this inspiration to make the world a better place too. So just want to say thank you, keep dreaming, and I hope you turn all your ideas into reality. Thank you so much. And with that, let me turn it over to Achilles to say a few things. But thank you again. I applaud you, and I look forward to seeing the rest of the day. Thank you.
Alrighty. To echo Ram's remarks, I hope you all know how much of an achievement it is to complete a design of this magnitude. Congratulations to all of you. I am now pleased to welcome Achilles Karagiosis, Director of the Building Technologies and Science Center at NREL. Achilles will be giving our thought leader speaker intro. Welcome, Achilles.
First of all, I want to thank you all for having me here. I want to make a comment, if I can, always deviate a little bit from the text that I was given. As you heard from Ram and Holly, there it was a lot of excitement and a lot of passion around building science. So I love building science, and I love to see you guys inspired in that area, because it is a fun place to be in for the rest of your career. So I'm privileged here to be at NREL, where there are 175 researchers working in the Building Technologies and Science Center, and who are tackling tough issues, building science issues on a day-to-day basis. And they span from material science, looking at things at a micro level, all the way to development of data sets, to analysis, and then finally the golden achievement is systems integration, because at the end of the day, you can have little things here and there, but if you don't integrate them to do what they're supposed to do, then you really don't have anything. So as a leader of building, energy, and modeling and system analysis at NREL, we have been developing, maintaining, and distributing tools like Comstock, ResStock, OpenStudio, Energy Plus, UrbanOpt, BOpt. Most of you have been using these tools the last few days, I've noticed. These tools and the supercomputing capabilities that we have at NREL allow our researchers to analyze various energy scenarios. With these energy scenarios that they analyze, they create these data sets. These data sets are increasing critically for our work in resilience, enabling us to look at smart building technologies, allowing us to look at effective mixes of energies, and at the end of the day, making things affordable and lowering the utility bills. Our suite of tools is the backbone of other building physics, energy modeling tools across the United States building sector, and we hope that all of you, as you start your careers, you start using these tools on a regular basis. Now, NREL's expertise isn't just tools, but it's in the know of how buildings are constructed, how buildings are retrofitted, and of course, key focus is how do you reduce and lower your utility bills for homeowners and building occupants, at the same time increasing the resilience to extreme weather events. For example, an activity that we were involved in is, that we developed was energy and modular method, where structures are created using prefabricated modules. This method drives down the cost and cuts down building energy consumption by up to 30% to make homes more affordable that we live in. We also are working directly with builders through partnership programs such as the Department of Energy Building America program to provide best practices for high performance affordable buildings. So please check out those things too. Our research also goes down to the material level. It looks at, and we have been developing new designer phase change materials. Sometimes they're microencapsulated, sometimes they're not. And what those types of materials do is they use the principles of melting, freezing, and we have designed them to be close to room temperature. So they really freeze and they melt at temperatures really close to the type of temperatures that buildings are exposed to. These new materials are now embedded in construction materials so that we use their melting points to release energy and heat the structures when they melt, and then at the same time absorb extra heat, allowing us to cool our surroundings. So now you have something that allows you to do a bunch of great things to help in the energy efficiency of indoor spaces, making them a lot more comfortable. And as Ron mentioned, comfort is critical. I mean, that's the driver. So we need to think about that a lot more. And at the same time, allow us to even look at things at a more optimized energy infrastructure level. So now you're looking at how do you do this in an affordable and optimized energy level. So please keep an eye on the NREL tools and our research as you go through your careers, because some of you because some of the work that we're doing that is happening here will be ready for you for the buildings that you design. Now, it's my pleasure to introduce our thought leader speaker of the Buildings Next Team Showcase, and that is Megan Cordes. Megan Cordes is the Director of Sustainability and Building Science for Beazer Homes. She joined Beazer in October of 2023 with over 15 years of experience working with forward-thinking industry leaders to advance building energy efficiency and renewable energy practices thoughtfully and cost-effectively. For more than 25 years, Beazer has been a leader of building homes ahead of current standards and beyond expectations of occupants. So big achievement there. Also, Beazer was the first U.S. national home builder to publicly commit to the end, by the end of 2025, that every home they build will meet the requirements of the U.S. Department Energy Zero Energy Ready Home Program. So that is a big commitment. So please join me in welcoming Megan.
Thanks, Achilles. Can you all hear me? Awesome. So it's so great to be here with you all. As he said, I'm Megan Cordes, Beezer's Director of Sustainability and Building Science. We are a national home builder. We operate in 12 states, 16 different markets. So we have a little bit of a spread, not as big as some of the bigger guys, but we do a lot of volume. And my title isn't super self-explanatory, but I mean, basically what I do is lead our sustainability initiatives. And as Achilles mentioned, we have some really forward-thinking initiatives. It's really exciting to be here and to work on those. So what I do at Beezer is I go out to our divisions, I meet with the folks implementing these initiatives. I get to know them and how it's going. I help them understand why we're doing what we're doing and some of the nuts and bolts of how to really get it accomplished. I listen to them and understand how they feel about it, where they're struggling, where they're finding success, what's good, what's not quite what we expected. And then I take all that back to the office and I sit and I think and I gather data and I figure out what's next. How can we keep pushing forward? How can we maintain our leadership position in this industry in terms of sustainability and efficiency and all of those things? For example, right now I'm developing our solar strategy going forward, which is a pretty exciting thing to get to do. A lot of people ask me how I got here because it is a pretty niche thing to do, and there's no real, historically there hasn't been a real path to this that's super defined. So I just want to talk a little bit about my path because it's not a highway. It was kind of a meandering, country road. So I come from a family with no college graduates. I knew nothing about college. I loved math, I loved science, but I didn't think of what I would ever do with it. So when it came time, I applied for colleges because my friends around me were doing it, but I didn't know what I was doing. So I got into Cal Poly. You have to declare a major. So I picked physics because I loved physics in high school. My physics teacher taught me how to take all of the numbers swirling around in my head and solve problems and tell a story. And incidentally, that's something I've done my whole career. So yeah, I went to college. I continued with physics throughout. I ended up taking some physics of energy classes and kind of caught the bug a little bit. I learned about thermodynamics of buildings and understanding building science and things like that. So really kind of got hooked on that. But then I graduated and I was like, yeah, no, I still don't know what to do. And so after a little bit of time bartending, I got a job as a land surveyor. If you don't know what that is, it's the person on a building site who is finding property corners, determining property lines, so that everything's built in the right place, but then also doing calculations from the engineering plans to place the sewer, the water line, the curb and gutter, all the houses, all of those things. So that was a really fun job. I loved it, and I got addicted to the building industry. It's such a great feeling to be a part of building something that is going to be such a big part of someone's life. People are going to be living in these homes, and I helped, and I helped make them better the more I got into my career. So I really loved it, but unfortunately, the bottom dropped out of the building industry. In 2007, all the work stopped. We had some government contracts that kind of kept us limping along, but I wanted to do more than that. So I elected to go work for the California Energy Commission, a state job in California. And the California Energy Commission puts together the energy efficiency code for builders in California that they have to follow. So I worked a lot on getting into the nitty-gritty details of specifically what goes into a building to make it more efficient. Between envelope, HVAC, we even started thinking about solar at that time. Back in 2007, we had just started working on the New Solar Homes Partnership, which kind of jump-started the new homes solar market in California. It gave some pretty hefty incentives and got us moving in the right direction. So as market uptake went up, solar price went down, and that just facilitated more builders installing solar. So it was an exciting time to be a part of that, and I learned a lot about the regulatory side of things, about how codes work, how to think about implementation, and how to work with different stakeholders to come to an agreement on things. ultimately, government was not for me. I have so much respect and admiration for the folks that navigate the bureaucracy and have the temperament for that. I don't. So I moved on to consulting. So with my experience in construction and with the regulatory environment, I had the skill set that was kind of a benefit for builders. So I went on to consult for the California Building Industry Association, and I learned a lot about how builders think, what they value, and kind of got a dose of reality. I did a lot of the CBIA technical analyses for code development, and then working with builders directly to help them understand the codes as they're implemented and help them understand how to incorporate them into their own designs. I met two of my most influential mentors there who taught me all about the building industry. And also, you know, from a personal perspective, a personal/professional perspective, I was a completely inappropriate professional. You know, I didn't know how professionals talked because I didn't know any professionals when I was growing up. And so one of my mentors was really great about saying, Megan, don't say that. Still working on it, but I think it's so important to learn from the people around you, no matter where you are. And I learned that a lot as I went through all of this. So after working on consulting during that time, the solar had advanced in California, and we had implemented the solar mandate, which began in 2020. All new homes after 2020 needed to have solar installed. I was pretty public, some of you may have heard about it, but pretty exciting time. I got an offer from a solar company to manage some solar accounts. So I went to work for a solar company for about 3 years, and I worked directly with some of the top 20 builders in California to help them run their solar program. We installed on homes. I got a real dose of reality there on the day-to-day hands-on work of incorporating features into a production builder's process. I saw the intersection of codes and reality firsthand, up close, and it was such a great learning experience. After that, I went on to work for a utility in California where I took all of the things that I've learned and tried to give back. I managed the training program there. It was free training for architects, engineers, builders, anybody in the industry to learn about all of the cool things that we can do in our homes. So starting with, you know, building envelope efficiency, building a tight envelope, insulating right, and then thinking about the home as a system, incorporating HVAC and all of the cool technologies that are around today. So heat pumps, EVs, we talked about smart panels, we talked about batteries, all sorts of fun stuff. It was really fulfilling to give back to that industry and share my knowledge as much as I could. So then when I was there, I was approached by Beazer, and Beazer said, hey, we're building these amazing homes. I hadn't heard about that because we're still working on doing a better job of marketing it, but at first I was like, I don't know, are you really? But then the more I learned and the more I did some research, I saw that they are building these incredible homes. And I also want to shout out there are, other builders here today that you should probably chat with, because there are so many different builders around the country that are really pushing the envelope here and pushing forward and thinking through these things and paving the way for us to do these things in the future. So of course I said yes to Beazer, and here I am, love it. That was a long-winded way of saying that I have learned a lot. I have been in a lot of places, and I've learned a lot about myself. I've learned a lot about the professional world. I've solidified my values and beliefs. I know what I stand for. And so in doing all of those things, I took the steps that I felt were right for my career. And some of you might know exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it, what your goals are specifically, and that's wonderful. That must feel great, because I've never felt that. But if you don't, that's fine too. Just try something, and if it doesn't work, try something else. That's how we improve. That's how we move forward. So I do want to kind of talk about some of the things I've learned specifically, some of the obstacles I've encountered and how I've overcome them. So far, nothing's been insurmountable. I'm still here. So first of all, I'm a woman in construction. To be blunt, it's not easy, but you know what? There are benefits to it, there are challenges to it. Being in a room full of men and just me as the only woman, it could be intimidating, but it's also a way to stand out, you know? I think that there are so many ways that we can take our differences and channel them into positives. And so, I've also seen this space really open up to all sorts of diverse opinions and diverse perspectives, and that's so important. I mean, we all face challenges in some form or another. You know, whether it's battling against stereotypes or something else. You know, I'm a single mom, and I've had socioeconomic struggles a lot in my life. Maybe for you, or for someone, it's a learning disability, or coming from a different cultural background that's not quite jiving, or something like that. We can overcome these, and we can turn them into positives. And I really believe that, and I do think it's necessary for this industry. I think in order to make change, we can't have the same thought process that we've always had. It's important to bring in all of our perspectives, because that's how we grow. So I just think it takes all of us and all of our differences to make this work. Another thing that I learned over the years is how important collaboration is between the field and the office. I think very often I'll see someone in the field looking at plans saying, who did this? This is never gonna work. And then they make some changes and they're like, okay, that's good. Or I'll see someone in the office who says, okay, why did that person make these changes? I did this for a reason. There are specific requirements that I was trying to hit. And it seems like a pretty easy problem to solve, right? You just talk to each other. But it doesn't happen enough. And so I think it's really important to keep that in mind, that we can't have one without the other. We need someone on the ground installing these things. We need the people with more formal education to put the plans together, to understand code and jurisdictional requirements. And we need them to collaborate. The more we can do that, the more we can build efficiently, find cost savings, find efficiencies, and everybody's happier at work too when they're collaborating and communicating more effectively. As an example, recently at one of our divisions, we were just struggling so much. This was about HVAC. We had an installer who was just pushing back on every single thing that we talked about. We had a mechanical designer who was like, I'm not changing anything. Like, this is how we do it, and we have lawyers and stuff who told us how to do it. And it was causing havoc. We were seeing bad installs, we were getting customer complaints. So I don't know why we didn't do this sooner, but we just put everybody in a room together and said, okay, let's talk through every single piece of this design. And installers, tell me where you see an issue. Designers, tell me where we can have some wiggle room to fix this. And not only did we fix the problem and make everybody happy, but we found a bunch of cost savings. We built a more efficient duct system, and I think we reduced the tonnage of the HVAC by like 1.5 tons. So we found cost savings, everybody felt good, win across the board. It's so important to make sure that you're all talking. And then the last thing I want to talk about is sort of our climate goals versus reality. And I've been working for 20 years to implement, it was in my bio, to implement energy efficiency, sustainability, renewable energy things across the board. And I believe it's the right thing to do. I believe it's better across the board. It's better for homeowners. It's better for the environment. It's good. But not everybody agrees with me, and that's okay. I don't have to convince everybody to think like me. All I have to do is find our commonalities and figure out a way to use those to align ourselves and move forward. I think the key is finding that balance, and I found ultimately with most people, we have more values in common than not. We all want to breathe clean air. We all want to live in a healthy, comfortable, durable home. We all want to pay less for our utilities. I mean, find me a person who wants to pay more on their electric bill. You can't. And so we can all move forward. And it's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. I mean, there's we have so many goals that are sometimes conflicting. We have energy efficiency goals. We have renewables goals. We have resiliency goals. We have affordability goals. And those are all very, very important, especially in a time when we're seeing a lot of wildfires. We're seeing a lot of weather events that are causing a lot of people to pay more attention to these things. And so one specific way of doing things is not going to be the right answer across the board. We need to be able to work together and figure out how to move forward as a group in a way that makes sense. And that might not be the way that you wanted to. That might not be the way that I wanted to. But as long as we keep moving forward, and I've been doing this for a long time, if you just keep going, we'll figure it out. So all of these things to say, my advice, number one, for yourselves is to, have some introspection. Really think about what you want to do and trust your instincts and take your career path in the way that makes sense for you, because we need you all. We really do. We need you all. You're all doing great work already, so please continue. Just the goal is to push forward in this industry with thoughtfulness and passion, keeping an open mind and welcoming people with different perspectives than you. It's funny, I'm supposed to be here to inspire you all, and I hope that I can, but ultimately, and not to be too sappy, but you guys are really inspiring. It's my son just built a solar car for Earth Day and raced it. The utility that I worked at built, they do a solar regatta where colleges and high schools build a solar boat and they go race it and stuff like that. And then I see all the work, the incredible work you all are doing here, and it gives me so much hope for the future. I've worked so hard at this, and I feel like we've hit an inflection point. We've got this exponential curve ahead of us where you all are going to make such big changes in such a shorter amount of time, and it's really exciting to see, and I can't wait to see what you all come up with. So, happy to answer any questions. Thank you so much for having me here. So I think we have a few minutes for questions if anybody wants to raise your hand and ask. If you don't think of it right now or you don't want to ask in front of anybody, just find me later. Awesome. Thanks, you guys.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Okay. Can you share an example of where you really learned the reality of home building? We've got some home builders here, but love to hear like a specific example.
Well, this one isn't I'll give a couple because the first one isn't a great example because it was a long time ago and things have changed. But when I was a land surveyor, there was a general contractor, and I was really excited. I was like, this is fun, I'm on the field, I'm doing things. And this general contractor just screamed at me. I'm sure I did something wrong because I was young, but he just screamed at me, and I was like, what are you doing? And I went back to my boss, and I said, this guy screamed at me. Like, can you do something? And he's like, I can take you off the project. So that was a long time ago. And it made me tougher. Like, I don't advocate for that. I think that people should not yell at people, and we've come a long way since then. But yeah, that was probably my first big introduction. But in terms of on the ground reality, I think what was kind of a wake up call for me is like how many things change on a daily basis. Like, if you go out in the field and you look at some plans, you are never going to see exactly. I mean, in an ideal world, yes, everything in the field will be exactly to plan. But one guy runs a plumbing line in the wrong direction. It throws everything off, and we have to accommodate that, right? So I think that was a big learning thing for me is the ability to think on your feet and how much the guys in the field are making these adjustments and using their experience and knowledge to figure that out.
Thank you so much for the talk. I wanted to ask about the conflicts you mentioned between different goals in the facets of sustainability. What's one conflict you see and a solution for resolving it?
So That's a tough question. I think the one that I thought about most recently was with the wildfires and the things happening, a lot of different media outlets have been reaching out to us and asking us what we're doing about resiliency and fire-resistant features. And the answer is we are building to code. There are pretty stringent fire codes in most of the places that we build, but ultimately, no, I think there's more that we could do there because we are focused on efficiency. So, you know, from that perspective, it's really just about being able to focus on one thing versus another. And there are other examples as well. Let me think of one. I mean, yeah, for sure, there's a conflict between building more efficiently and affordability. I'd like to say that we can build much more efficiently and still price ourselves at the same level as a builder that's not doing that, but the truth is it costs more. One thing that we can do to mitigate that is continue to push forward, train our trades, really get everybody who's implementing this to understand specifically why we're doing this and to be thinking about how we can do this. This is where the different perspective comes in really handy, because what I've found in different divisions is there are places where we're saving money by building more efficiently because our trades are so engaged in thinking about how to improve the process and how to build better. And so that's kind of some of the things that we're doing to solve that. It's not easy, it's a long process, but yeah.
Hi, thank you for the wonderful talk. I have a question, how do you engage your community?
Please repeat your question.
Oh, sorry. I said, I thank you for your wonderful talk. My students are so very inspired, and so are everybody else. What a wonderful path to where you are. My question is, in your current role, how do you engage the community? Do you engage the community, or especially because you're the sustainable director?
Yeah.
How do you create awareness? Thank you.
Thank you for that question. From a broader perspective as a company, you know, it's pretty imperative that we do enough marketing for people to understand what we're doing, you know, because we want them to understand that the value of what they're getting, because it's our differentiator. We, you know, as a business, we don't choose to do, I mean, I choose to do these things because I believe in them, but as a business, you choose to do them because it's a market differentiator and it makes sense for you as a company. So from that perspective, we have marketing's all over it, our sales agents are all over it. Everybody is trying to engage the community around them to help them understand the benefits of this, which is not a small task because, you know, not a lot of people are doing it. From my perspective, I do as much stuff like this as I possibly can. I think the more people know about this, the more people feel comfortable in pushing forward on it. You know, like if I were by myself in a little silo and I didn't know all the cool people that I've met through this, I would feel overwhelmed sometimes. And I still do, but you know, knowing that other people are out there doing this is a huge help for me, and I hope that it would help other people, so I try to do the same thing.
Okay, sorry, hi, over here.
Oh, hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for your talk. I actually have a challenging question for you. Hope you can offer some advice. We're from the state of Missouri, and there's currently legislation that will likely pass to reduce energy code requirements back to the 2009 standards. And my question is, how can we deal with this climate and try to educate builders, designers, owners, people to invest in the critical strategies to help with energy savings and not just be so focused on profit and bottom line at the very beginning of the lifetime of a building?
I think you can do a little bit of both. You know, I think something that my CEO says, and he's a brilliant guy, he says that for a long time, people think about the times when the president went out and said, you know, because we're in the oil crisis, turn down your heaters and put a sweater on, right? Like that efficiency and sustainability means sacrifice. And I think the more that we can do to help move the narrative forward that that's not necessarily the case is I think the best thing we can do. You know, I think doing the research, really understanding how these homes, number one, they save you money operationally, but number two, they're built better. They're more durable, they're better quality. You reduce callbacks as a builder. I think a lot of times the builders don't necessarily think about like how building better quality is going to save them money on the back end. So I think there's a business case for it. And there are builders who have a lot of data going back years of homeowners who choose them because they're building the way that they're building efficiently and sustainably. The more we can find cases like that where it's working and it's working for us, the more I think you can show builders, hey, this is a good idea. You know, this can work. Mm-hmm. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Megan, for being here with us today and sharing your experiences. Now we would like to take a moment to recognize all of you. In order to recognize all teams, I want to take a moment to invite teams in the ballroom to stand when you see your division on the screen. Teams watching virtually, you'll also see your name on screen, so please take a moment to cheer or wave wherever you are. We'll start with the single-family housing projects. Single-family designs are always in high demand in the industry, and the cost of owning a median-priced home now consumes about 47% of the median U.S. household income, well above the traditional affordability threshold of 30%. Students like you have an opportunity to be on the front lines to solve this. If you had a single-family housing design, please stand for a round of applause. Congratulations to the teams in this category. Our next category is multifamily buildings. The growth and construction of multifamily buildings across the country in the past few years has been astounding, and the teams in this category imagined comfortable, high-density living with lower energy bills and a high quality of life. If you took on the challenge of a multifamily building design, stand up now. Great job to those teams. One of our commercial divisions this year was the Education Building Division. Students spend a great deal of time at school most days, as you all probably know, so stellar design for education buildings is key. Creating healthy and high-performance buildings optimizes the learning environment and leads to sound fiscal management of facilities. If you are one of the teams in the Education Building Division, please stand now. And last but not least, we have the Open Commercial Division, which was new this year. Teams could select any type of commercial building, from healthcare to retail to civic centers and more. There are big opportunities to address the aging building stock of commercial buildings, especially with thoughtful envelope retrofits and other upgrades that can increase building resiliency for businesses of all sizes. If you were one of the teams in Open Commercial Division this year, please stand. Congratulations to all our teams this year. Each team in person, you can pick up a certificate in the foyer near the photography backdrop, which will be back in that corner. I invite you to take photos with your team, with our photographers, and your certificate after the event. But now it's time for Career Connections, where industry representatives will be stationed around at the foyer where you had breakfast with table tents listing their organizations. Take time to talk with them over the next hour, and we'll reconvene back here in the ballroom at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. Industry representatives in attendance, please find the table that's marked with your name and a little table tent. Faculty, please join us for the faculty social in the Keystone and Telluride room back near the lobby. Enjoy.
lights are really bright. The mics are on.
The Building's Next Student Design Competition is a very good entry experience to what the real world is like.
I think the impact of the Building's Next Student Design Competition is that it encourages innovation.
The project that you're going to create is a real project that you can put on your resume. It also could be a real project that's going to impact a community.
You have to go through meetings, you have to collaborate with your partners, your engineers, your architects. There's only one team and it's all of you working towards the same goal.
The Building's Next Student Design Competition helped me transition into the professional world by giving me a backbone of confidence in different client-facing roles, meeting roles, and all types of task delegation.
It's the best of the best, right? The best of the best want to challenge themselves and look at opportunities that they have in school to not only differentiate themselves, but to learn in a different way.
The grand winner of the 2024 Design Challenge.
We want to be a sponsor of the Building's Next Student Design Competition. We see the value of what that brings in knowing that not only does it allow us to be able to recruit the best engineers out there, but it allows us to be a partner. Legence looks for students that are leaders, that are innovators, and when we get those individuals in here, they become leaders of Legence then as well.
The most exciting part about working for CMTA and Legence is being at the forefront of building science and literally groundbreaking projects.
The work culture is fantastic. Everyone here has been very welcoming, but also giving me the freedom to grow. Having that freedom and knowing that everyone has my back to be able to do what I want to do is pretty fantastic.
I'll recommend Legence as a place to work because it's a very innovative company and you get to work on a bunch of really exciting projects.
You get to be your best self while you do some pretty fantastic things.
Welcome back. Now on to the fun part. I hope you all made good connections at the networking break and that you enjoyed this video from Legence, our gold level sponsor for the 3rd year in a row. It's always impactful for me personally to see where students end up after the competition, so it was really fun seeing those alumni in the video. Now a few logistics for honorable mentions here. If you earn an honorable mention and are in the room, please come up to the stage on this side to receive your plaque. Remove your badges now if you are wearing them in case you were called up. If your team is announced, please enter from the stairs to my left and then exit down the ramp. Your team will then be taken to the foyer for pictures and then back into the ballroom. If you're virtual, we will show your team name on a slide and we'll give you a round of applause here in the room. Your plaque will be mailed to you after the event. Today, there will be 16 overall honorable mentions, 2 for each division group that presented yesterday. The industry review panelists had flexibility to determine the honorable mention categories for their own groups, so these will be unique and tailored to your projects. Please join me in welcoming Jess Farber, Vice President of CMTA, a Legence company, to the stage for a few remarks and to kick off our honorable mention recognitions.
Thanks, Taylor. I asked her to stand behind me this year so I wouldn't fall off the stage again, for those that maybe didn't forget that from last year. So thank you, Taylor. I had to plug that. Anyway, it's a great honor to be here representing Legence again. We've been doing this for several years, as was mentioned, and we're proud of being gold level sponsors. It's a great event and have been fortunate to attend each of those times. At Legence, we believe in supporting initiatives that foster innovation and empower future leaders, as was said in the video. This event consistently exemplifies the highest caliber of talent with students who are poised to make meaningful contributions to the built environment, which we saw so many examples of yesterday. Legence constantly looks for ambitious students who are leaders, innovators, and pioneers and are driven to succeed. And this showcase truly brings together the best of the best. So congratulations to all you for making it out here and participating in the event. Each year, I've been truly impressed to see all these projects. And again, yesterday was no exception to that. So well done, job well done. Again, that's why we're deeply committed to being a part of this incredible program. It aligns with our values and vision as a company, with this forward thinking in this future together with all of us. I remember seeing these alumni that were just on the video in this very ballroom a year or two ago. Mountie and Isaac, both very talented individuals that are contributing immediately to work that we do as a company. Mountie works in our CMTA Lexington office, so you saw her up on the screen earlier. She's already engaged in some very cool projects, one being a project in Washington, D.C. that will be a lead resilience hub. So some pretty innovative projects we're doing, and she's right on the front lines of helping us do this work. So these are real opportunities for each and every one of you. Secondly, Isaac works in our Richmond, Virginia office and as a mechanical engineer. And he's working on some energy model simulations. So the tools they mentioned earlier that NREL developed, we're using those tools to apply to our projects on a daily basis to predict energy performance and really driving energy down in buildings. It's a great tool that we use on a daily basis. So cool to see that. This is for a 300,000 square foot high school in Virginia. So these are real projects that we're applying these tools to. So it's some pretty cool stuff. Wyatt Ross, for those that were here on Friday, a colleague of mine, was honored with a prestigious Buildings Next alumni recognition. And he was in the program, I think in 2018 or 2019 maybe. And so he was recognized for that on Friday, and he currently works in our Cincinnati office and does a lot of work in building performance and looking at predicting how buildings are performed through using all kinds of software tools and data collection that we do. It's a very data-driven process we go through, so he is involved in that on a daily basis, real actual applications of this. He's proven himself to be a leader over and over again, just a fine person in the building sciences and every day to really transform our projects for our clients. And so he's a remarkable individual. And it's a very professional and personal achievement. It's a testament to his dedication, his hard work, his talent, and his drive. I wish he was here so I could recognize him, but he had to leave early. But he's been a great colleague of mine for many years. We're peers of each other, and I'm proud to help mentor him along the way. So I'm proud of all the work he's done, and one day it could be one of you. So exciting to see the great things this program alumni are already doing at Legence. Again, some great examples here. One of you hopefully will be in that position here when you exit into your career. From leadership roles to groundbreaking contributions on key projects, they have quickly become integral team members in our projects. So it's a very hands-on, project-specific, one project at a time kind of application that we do. Legence is committed to delivering high-performance infrastructure solutions, and our people play a crucial role in achieving that mission. With over 5,000 employees working across 50 states as a part of 13 different companies, so CMTA is a company within Legence, so there's 13 of us that do these comprehensive solutions, ranging from advisory services to engineering, design, and construction, and ongoing maintenance. So there's a huge range of projects careers out there for all of you. For those considering joining Legence, you'll find that we're at the forefront of innovation, offering solutions to energy efficiency, building resiliency, and ensuring long-term return on investment. I think one thing you'll learn, everything we do has to have a financial feasibility to it in general. So how do we do these projects in a cost-effective way, in a practical way, in a pragmatic way? So keep that in mind as you're developing your projects over time. We had a lot of great feedback yesterday for that. We're proud of the projects that we've completed, like the first verified highly efficient K-12 public school in New England, which is Buckley Elementary School, actually just down the road from where Paul Torzellini lives, just outside of Hartford, as well as John Lewis Elementary in Washington, D.C. These are just some transformational projects we've completed, just to showcase a few of those. With these projects, we demonstrate our ability to lead the way in modernizing buildings, positively impacting the surrounding communities at the same time, which is important. Joining Legence means becoming part of a team passionate about creating transformational change, and we look forward to continuing to work with talented individuals like all of you here. Thank you again for your time. Now, it is my honor, this is why we're all here finally, to give out the honorable mention recognitions for the day. Please welcome Sam Petty and Gilly Plog from the Building Technologies Office at the U.S. Department of Energy to the stage for the recognitions. I get to keep going. Let's see. I'll be announcing 2 honorable mentions for multifamily building Group 1 and then 2 for multifamily building Group 2, so you know who you are. Designs in this division could include structures that have a minimum of 3 dwelling units and could also include additional commercial, retail, office, or industrial space. The first one. In the multifamily building division Group 2, the honorable mention, Excellence in Holistic Design, goes to a team who outlined technically rigorous analysis in their presentation, integrated high-performance systems for long-term energy efficiency, and addressed housing affordability and consumer costs through a scalable design. Congratulations goes to the University of Oklahoma.
Yeah, just take one photo. Okay. And
Or not.
there will be photos.
There will be photos. Photos are outside. All right. The next recognition in multifamily building division Group 1 is titled Trailblazers and Modular Construction. And this goes to the team who designed a strong and a resilient building foundation, incorporated thoughtful and intentional reuse of local materials, and also advanced modular construction by creating emergency housing without sacrificing dignity or comfort. Join me in congratulating this team that joined us virtually from,
I'll do my best. Universitat Politecnica de Valencia
Sorry
in
about
Spain. It's okay.
no one told me that. And they're virtual. 2 more. In the multifamily building division Group 2, the honorable mention, Excellence in Occupant-Oriented Design, goes to a team who addressed rising costs of living for youth with an economical retrofit, created a compelling narrative examining personas for specific occupants, and also integrated creative elements in multi-unit housing to demonstrate building science concepts such as a thermal mass mural. Pretty cool stuff. Join me in congratulating this team that joined us virtually from Monash University. Last but not least, in multifamily building division Group 1, the honorable mention, Excellence in Thoughtful Building Transformation, goes to a team who impressed the reviewers with an exceptionally thorough and polished presentation, innovatively transformed an existing building to exceed client expectations, and also incorporated immense attention to detail to create a senior residence with a thermally superior envelope. Join me in congratulating the University of Arizona. Please welcome our next speaker, Todd Usher, founder and president of Addison Homes and a member of the National Association of Home Builders, to give out the next honorable mention recognitions. The National Association of Home Builders is one of Building Next silver level sponsors this year. Welcome, Todd.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. Is this going to move on its own or no? No, I get to keep moving it. Okay, good deal. Thanks for having me. I'm here on behalf of the National Association of Home Builders, the largest network of craftspeople, innovators, and problem solvers dedicated to building and enriching communities. NAHB has been a partner of this program since the very beginning in 2002, and its efforts to innovate and inspire not only the next generation of home builders, hopefully many of you, but the home building industry as a whole is part of our commitment. The wealth of knowledge you all bring to the table is incredibly impressive, and your engagement in your local communities to build on that knowledge and fill a need that exemplifies the overarching goal of home building to build communities is quite impressive. The built environment offers huge opportunities for people, so I hope you'll consider a career in it, and I hope you'll consider this as just your start. As home builders and remodelers, we are the ones with the boots on the ground and work to build a better future for us all. And I want to say too that I hope this experience has been just the beginning of your learning journey in the world of the built environment and building science. Hopefully you've enjoyed this experience. Yes, yes, yes. Excellent. That's what it's all about. That's why we do what we do, is we enjoy what we do, and we enjoy the creation of building better buildings. So let this be your start. Let this be just the beginning. Continue to learn. Continue to perform. You inspire me. This experience, every time I attend, is truly one of the most inspirational opportunities I have to look ahead at the future in our industry. You inspire this industry, and this industry and the world needs you. So continue doing what you do, and now we will talk about the housing honorable mentions for the single family category. These teams took on a challenge of designing a home that are not only energy efficient, but comfortable and durable for their occupants. I will begin to read the first of 4. So in the Single Family Housing Division Group 2, the honorable mention, Design for Recovery, goes to a team who utilized panelized construction to lower consumer cost, crafted a highly energy efficient design informed by firsthand construction experience, and created a disaster relief housing solution for rapid recovery from Hurricane Helene. Join me in congratulating Appalachian State University. Okay, the second honorable mention. In the Single Family Housing Group Division 1 group, the honorable mention, Innovative Building Strategies, goes to a team who clearly thought outside the box with their creative design, incorporated modularity and energy independence into a traditional housing type, and created a modular off-grid residential unit that was both portable and affordable. Join me in congratulating the team that joined us virtually from Harvard University. Okay, in the Housing Single Family Division Group 2, the honorable mention, Innovative Retrofit, goes to a team who addressed the lack of attainable housing in their community, integrated resilient strategies in response to recent wildfires, and tackled the challenge of creating a retrofit kit that is repeatable while meeting the needs of a specific client. Join me in congratulating this team that joined us virtually from the University of British Columbia, Okanagan, and Thompson Rivers University. Okay, and the last but not least, in the Single Family Housing Division Group 1, the honorable mention Masterful Incorporation of Building Science goes to a team who thoroughly addressed control layers in their building's envelope, used innovative materials for their building structure, and were very on the ball with ventilation strategies and building science interpretations in their block development plan. Join me in congratulating this team who joined us virtually from Ball State University. Okay, congrats to the teams in the Single Family Housing Division. I'd now like to invite Emma Single, a sustainable design professional from HKS, another silver level sponsor, to the stage.
Hello, everyone. It is great for my colleague Kevin and me to be here for our 5th event as a sponsor and as returning alumni of the 2011 and 2021 challenges. HKS is a global interdisciplinary design and consulting practice. In the words of our CEO and chairman, Dan Noble, at HKS, design is a way of thinking. It can uncover hidden opportunities and create meaningful change. Design done right delivers the extraordinary. Our design solutions strive for regenerative and resilient communities. With your Buildings Next entries, you become an influencer for the change required within, through, and beyond the built environment. One of the best aspects of this partnership is the time we get to spend with you, the student teams. You are our future. You are the talent we seek to hire and who will become our leaders. A special thanks to DOE for convening this amazing program, and most importantly, thanks to the schools, professors, and students who continue to inspire us all. I get to announce the Education Building Honorable Mentions. Designs in this category could cater to students of any grade level, from preschool through college. All right, the first one. In the Education Building Division Group 1, the Persuasive Pitch Honorable Mention goes to a team who demonstrated excellent presentation skills in delivery with professional graphics and production, showcased compelling architectural features and realistic constructability of their design, and brought new life to campus with an inspiring space for gatherings. The honorable mention goes to Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University. Okay, the next one. In the Education Building Division Group 1, the Designed with Purpose honorable mention goes to a team who prioritized cost effectiveness through renewal of an existing structure, responded to the challenges and needs of a remote and rural population, and creatively implemented a building within a building design for a school in Alaska to reduce costs and improve efficiency. Join me in congratulating this team that joined us virtually from the University of New Hampshire. All right, on to the third. In the Education Building Division Group 2, the Integrated Design honorable mention goes to a team who thoroughly explored a variety of potential technical solutions as part of their design process, incorporated a geothermal system that exceeds cooling needs, and implemented thoughtful and cost-effective methods to reuse the site, structure, and materials for a public school. The honorable mention goes to the Cooper Union for the advancement of science and art. Last but not least, in the Education Building Division Group 2, the Building Resilience honorable mention goes to a team who engineered solutions around unique site-specific constraints, developed a replicable design for other towns to become more disaster resilient, and provided space for expansion through adaptable campus design. Join me in congratulating Appalachian State University. Congratulations to the education building teams, and thank you for having me. Now I am pleased to introduce Dr. Paul Torsellini, a principal engineer at NREL, for our final honorable mentions. You may know Paul as the face of the Building Science Education series, and if you don't, check out his videos on YouTube later. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, everyone. It's great to be back here again. You know, I've been involved with this event since, 1999, which was probably before a lot of you were born. And, you know, often take a role behind the scenes, and at that time was writing rules for competitions. You know, sometimes I'm kind of not necessarily in front of the camera, but in front of the microphone. And so most of you, and I know several of you, come like, I know that voice. And it's been a great honor to put the Building Science Education series together. I know a lot of you have gotten something out of that. You know, and there's something to be said about, you know, dividing this up, you know, something that is highly complex into bite-sized chunks that then you can do something and implement with. You know, and this weekend we've seen, you know, great projects, you know, that are largely based on building science to accomplish great goals. And so I'm always pleased when I see people and hear from you about what you've gotten out of that. So today I'm going to talk about the open commercial division. You know, you could select commercial buildings of any type. You know, one of the things about commercial is it is everything else. All these other buildings, you know, lots of variety, lots of challenges, lots of opportunities. You know, basically these buildings had to be larger than 2,000 square feet. You could look at new, you could look at retrofit projects, but there are things like public and civic buildings, hospitality, healthcare, retail, food service, commercial real estate, lots of different buildings fit into this. You know, and it was a new opportunity, you know, where it was much more open, and so as a result, you know, we've kind of have the first ever plaques in this division. So let's see what we've got in the envelopes here. So in the open commercial division group 1, The honorable mention, Excellence in Informed and Iterative Design, goes to the team who showcased a balance of architecture and careful investigation of building technologies, methodically planned the construction process to decrease costs, and exhibited excellent collaboration and leveraged interdisciplinary expertise with a 36-person team for a retrofit in a harsh climate. Join me in congratulating this team that joined us virtually from Northeastern University. So next, in the Open Commercial Division Group 2, the Reinvented Spaces honorable mention goes to the team who demonstrated innovative approaches for breathing new life into forgotten spaces, creatively incorporated beautiful design in an underutilized industrial setting, and implemented an energy-efficient redesign of a power plant for public use. Join me in congratulating this team that has joined us virtually from Mongolia University. In the Open Commercial Division Group 2, the Technology in Action honorable mention goes to a team who demonstrated a cost-competitive design with challenging technologies, bridged understanding and application with a clear path to implementation, and prioritized systems integration in repurposing a complex building for a tribe's wellness center. Join me in congratulating this team that has joined us virtually from the University of Oregon. And for our final honorable mention in the Open Commercial Division Group 1, the Design for Wellness honorable mention goes to a team who thoughtfully engaged with their target occupants and responded to their needs, exhibited a thoughtful engineering strategy combining approaches to adaptive reuse and new construction, and created intentional spaces to prioritize the health needs of occupants in a local wellness center. Congratulations to the University of Arizona. Well done, Open Commercial teams. And with that, I'll pass the podium once again to Taylor to share some final thoughts.
All right. Congratulations to all of our honorable mention recipients. If you received an honorable mention and are in person, please gather up here at the stage after remarks have concluded for some videography. Thank you all for joining us this weekend and for sharing your groundbreaking designs. I truly can't believe that the event has already come to an end. For those online, thank you for joining us. We'll mail your honorable mention plaques if needed. For those here in person, you can pick up your to-go lunches in the foyer. We know some of you are planning to get out and enjoy the beautiful Colorado weather that we have this weekend before your flights or drives home, so hopefully the to-go lunches will help. We'll start cleaning up in the ballroom here shortly. This weekend was a celebration of hard work, creativity, and a shared passion for advancing the built environment. It wasn't just about earning an honorable mention. It was about collaborating, thinking critically, and applying science to real-world challenges. Every one of you contributed ideas that's going to move the industry forward. Keep asking questions, keep solving problems, and keep working towards a future shaped by thoughtful, impactful design. The work starts here, and it really matters. Please travel safely, and thanks for coming.